Okay, video 2 here. I just took the top lever here, the release lever, off. That pin comes out pretty easily, and found there's a small spring underneath it there, so I'll make sure that small spring goes back in. And also, I had just flipped the heavy duty spring here. This leg over here was laying in this notch, and you can just, with a needle nose pliers, screwdriver, really pop that out, and that releases all the tension on that spring to make taking this pin out and putting it back in a whole lot easier. Okay, now with that lever out of the way, that came off real easy since the tension was gone. You can see the other bolt here that is activated by the lever. When you move the lever, it's going to lift this up and down, which looks like it probably, hopefully we can see that here in the sunshine, moves a plunger inside of there. Yes, I see something moving up and down connected to the bolt. No spring force on it right now. I don't know whether that's the way it's supposed to be or not. Just found another interesting view here. Hopefully we can capture this. As you pick up on that bolt, there you can see that piece that's lifting, and it lifts up, and there's a hole down inside of there. If I can get this to focus for you. Well, either way, there's a bore in there, and that plunger fits in and out of that bore. So I'm guessing it's just a bypass relief when you're not lifting, and then when you go to pick up the load, you pull this and push it down in there to block the hole, pushing the oil out the outlets and the rest of the way. And also discovered that underneath this kickoff plunger cap here is nothing. It's empty, and there's just a hole in there. Again, don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be, but we're going to find out. Also, the two buttons I mentioned earlier, they just appear to, as of right now anyway, float in there. I can pick up on them, and they just stay in position. Up and down, can do it by hand, and they just stay wherever they're left for now. We'll find out later when we get inside. Okay, have to take out that plunger mechanism in order to get in with the socket to loosen the bolts around the pump cover. Found inside of there is some sort of pressure kick out device. Focus doesn't work very well here, does it? It's got just a regular ball on top of a little seat, which sits on top of a spring, and the spring sits inside the plunger. I guess you didn't see that. Spring in the plunger, little seat on top of the spring, and a regular little ball sits on top of that. And that just sits against a hole that is inside there. And the sunlight will help us a little bit. There you go. So, and again, the stack of everything. I'll just mention also, all the bolts are the same length except the one that holds this retainer bracket is about a 1/4 inch longer. And of course it's the one that goes in this hole here, which holds the retainer bracket over this, which I'm guessing is probably the main relief valve, since there's a gap between the retainer bracket and that plunger. And we'll see when we get it apart. Well, I'm just going to make a correction on this video before I probably shut the phone down and try and figure out how to do this. But this thing here, I was incorrect. That's actually one of the main input shafts of one of the gears, which is attached to the drive lug. And as I was trying to get this loose, interesting thing is the center housing is loose in here. I don't know if you can see that moving or not there. Is loose underneath the top housing and the front cover. But it appears that this shaft here is maybe kind of tight in there, although it does turn inside the cover pretty easily. So I'll have to go do some digging. Last resort, read the instructions. So later.